welcome Suzanne F.
Exponential communications creates all kinds of possibilities. Matter of fact, several years ago, I was dropping off my car for maintenance. And as any good service provider would do, they drive you back to your office when they maintain your car. This particular day, there was two of us, so we're getting a lift back to our offices. I proceeded to the back seat, and this gentleman who was talking, and I never saw his face, went in the front seat. Well, he was talking very loudly prior to getting into the car and for the entire journey. At first I found this very annoying, and to be quite frank, rude. Opportunity to network, and I couldn't. Sure enough, then I heard him say, we really need to get our sales team up to speed. We need to train them how to be more persuasive in presentations. The devil became my angel. Sure enough, I patiently awaited while the talking head continued to talk and talk and talk. All I wanted to do was introduce myself and get him to think of me and my organization as an option for his solution. Well, he never stopped. So what do? Well, I did what any proactive professional who trains persuasive presentations would do. Tapped him on the shoulder, gave him my card, and told him to call me. So, ladies, if you've done this before, this could have went a number of different ways. Sure enough, a few days later, I did get a call from the talking head. And as it turned out, we did meet eventually face to face, and he did hire me for 3-day programs. Then he introduced me to somebody else in his organization, who eventually became a very large contract, and it has been a client of mine for the last 5 years, even when I was an athlete. All because I was proactive. And hope that this gentleman would see me as a professional and not someone who's trying to pick up.
So we had all our equipment with us. So we decided what two people would decide who want to push their edge. We decided to go. So we told the younger couple that we would join them on this particular hike. And then I overheard something that these ears had never heard before. I heard the young gentleman, Andrew, communicating to somebody else and saying, "Oh, yes, we're hiking the Otter Trail with the older couple." So that is the first time I had ever heard myself referred to as an older person. I learned something that day. Not only am I middle-aged, but I know what motivates me.
If you are thinking about this, this is going to be the longest hour of your life. And how many of you said to yourselves, I would never buy something for that amount of money? Who did that? Sure, it's human nature. See, we do that consciously or unconsciously. We put the value on things. Do you know how many times you've gotten in the way of your own sale? Pin drop. I can guarantee you. You get in the way of your own sale because you're telling your buyer, you will not do this, therefore I'm not going to provide it.
A long time, many of you. When's the last time you challenged yourself? When's the last time you got outside your comfort zone? Went beyond status quo. Opened your mind to the possibilities. This is what I call your edginess, which is finding the edge of your comfort zone where you'll find an enhanced version of yourself. Who's got uncomfortable lately? Can I just see a show of hands? Okay, good. So about a quarter of you. Hopefully, by the end of this talk, a few more of you. Now, the goal is, and we're talking about UnSales What does that mean to you? Our goal is to debunk top sales perceptions that have been around for so many years that many of you have been practicing successfully, and some are working for you and some are not working for you. The goal is to stretch you a bit, push your edge a little bit, have some fun with this a little bit, to ultimately make you more persuasive, differentiate you and your offer, and engage more people in more business. You look at the buying decision. David, we're going to use you as our buyer. Excellent, thank you. So, I don't know if you know, do you know David?
Yeah.
He's a good guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good guy? 1 to 10, what?
Yeah.
All right, let's pretend you don't know David. Now, David wants to buy a TV. He could buy a Toshiba or a Sony. The Toshiba has better benefits, but the Sony his friend sells. Now, who's he going to buy from? Depends what he needs, depends what he's looking for. What's important to him? Yeah, okay. How good of a friend? All right. You're saying some good stuff here. You're not hitting it quite, but we're close. We're definitely close. It does depend. It depends on a few things. It depends on his experiences, and it depends on who's imposing on him. Value is psychological. It's how people buy. None of us buy the exact same. Different things motivate us differently. Depends on his guiding values. Depends on his experiences.
So the undiscount discount. When you discount, you're doing one of three things. One, you're saying you're too expensive in the first place. Two, you're saying you don't have enough confidence in your own value, in your expertise, in your company's value. Therefore, you now create question in the buyer's mind. Third thing, you create a platform for negotiations every time you interact with that person again. I've negotiated my gym membership 5 times this year. Why? Because he said yes the first time. I want you to try this out. I think you'll know this word. See, if you're good enough at what you do, and you know how to create conversations that are influential, you should not be negotiating. You shouldn't be negotiating. So say no. Say no to discounts. So how do you do that? Well, then you've got to give them a reason to say no. You got to tap into what's important to them. What differentiates you in the market?
People do not like to be sold to. They like to buy. Think that's fair? They don't like to be sold to. So enter into a conversation, not an interrogation. And that's the danger with probing. We don't know to ask questions. It's how many to ask. And I actually believe ask a lot. It's how you ask that question is the key. In order to cover values and motivators of the buyer. Here's a good example. As the story goes, my husband and I spent 2 years in Africa. You heard the introduction, all right? Now, we had a phenomenal experience because I was interviewing pioneering women all over Africa. A great initiative that we've done in giving out scholarships to tertiary education. So you can imagine, it's not the normal way people go touring. Well, the last thing he said is that I was with my husband in Indian room. This is important, I'll tell you why. Because when I got home, these are the questions my friends and family asked. First question is, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Second, did you feel safe? And third, did you get robbed? Now, I'm going to tell you, the variety of those questions, no matter my professional, career, or personal friends, did not change that much. A question here, a question there, all of those. But those three, everyone asked us. We ask questions, often as salespeople, through our own paradigms, our own belief systems. When we do that in sales, the problem with it is that we don't actually learn about our customer. We're trying to pigeonhole them. See, if they ask me questions about what was my experience, my impression, or what my biggest challenge was, that would have been from my lens of the world, not their lens of the world.
How many times we go into meetings and say, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we're all about, and by the way, what's important to you? Well, you just knocked out by positioning yourself too much. You could actually say the wrong thing in your positioning statement that the other person doesn't value. Do you hear that? I have clients who do this all the time. They'll say, we've been in business for 7 years. That's not very long, depending on the other person. So you want to pick what you say very strategically because somebody may value it, but they may not value it.
It is often when people say it is too expensive. There's 3 reasons that happens. 1, they want to win. They want to enter into a negotiation. 2, you haven't done your due diligence enough to understand how they buy. So you haven't really made a really good case for what we do. Or 3, you're too expensive. But when someone says you're expensive, what they may be saying, really saying, is I don't like you. I don't trust you. I fear you. But it's a heck of a lot easier to say you're too expensive.
This is not the 80s. The 80s, you were 1 martini away from a contract. Those days have been long gone, particularly because so many of us need to justify purchase decisions to somebody else. So just saying I like the person is not going to be enough. It's got to be a lot more than that. Now, I'm not suggesting your relationships aren't important in the sales process. They do have an influence. They're just not absolute. Why do we build relationships? One reason and one reason only. To get honest answers to the questions we ask. God, that just takes more right out of that thing. That was good. To get the honest answers to the questions we ask. You see, because if I don't like you, I'm not going to tell you how I really feel. I am just going to stop working with you. This is why we have to be proactive and create those relationships before those opportunities actually happen, so that we can open up communication, make it honest. One of the best compliments you can get is a client calling you and actually saying to you, you know what, you're slipping. You're doing something wrong and you're going to lose me. I just did this to a supplier the other day. He said, what do I need to do? I said, that's the right answer. This is how we need to go forward if you're going to keep me as a client. Know the devil. You want to know the devil. Because if you don't know the devil, you miss out. Not only that, you'll lose your clients because you won't have the honest answers. More